PSX this week, we got to see a lot more Sony VR.
Yes, we did.
But not only did they announce new games, but they let us try it the same day. And one of those games was Job Simulator, one of the stupidest, weirdest, funniest games, especially for VR, I've ever played.
Yeah, I think this was, I played a couple games during PSX, and I think this was probably one of my favorites just because it's just ridiculous. It's like all the kind of stuff you want to do at work, but you can't.
Well, the concept of it is that you're in the future, and they wanted people to know what it feels like to go back in time and have a job like it is today, which is ridiculous. And so you put on this VR, it's supposed to simulate what life was like during this time, and it's so ridiculous. Like, you have standard things that you'd expect in an office, your computer, your desks, there's you get some donuts and a coffee truck walks by, but it's so funny because you're also using the Sony Move peripherals, and they're so awkward and on purpose, right? This is a surgeon simulator-esque, right? You're not meant to actually be able to do this well. Picking up anything is a struggle.
Yeah. One of my favorite things, I just right off the bat, I remember starting, I looked around, and then I just started throwing everything I could just in the air. And then people would lean over the desks, or the little robot television things would lean over the desk, and they'd be like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I'd start throwing everything I could at them, and they'd get annoyed. And then the guy was like, "You should make coffee." So I was like, "All right, I'll make coffee." Made the coffee, held it, dumped it on my head, and then splashed the rest on my boss. Like, it was just kind of a joke, but it's a fun joke. Like, it's something that I wanted to try again. I wanted to keep messing around with.
Yeah, it's really silly. And they not only did they let you joke around with like the food, but you do feel it. You feel the immersion a little bit, because when I was eating donuts, I was opening my mouth and like chewing and making like nom 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 sounds when I was eating it and drinking the coffee. But I mean, we had so much fun from just eating. There was all sorts of stuff you could touch in the game. There was a disc that if you put it in, it played like Flappy Bird, or kind of like a
Floppy Bird or something.
Knockoff of Flappy Bird, and that was silly. It's gimmicky, if nothing else. I'm not sure of like the longevity of a game like that.
Yeah, one thing though that I did notice is that like I had a tough time just not like walking around the office, like, because you're kind of boxed in.
It was constraining you, probably on purpose, because it's just a demo, right? But at the same time, it was one of the most memorable things I played at PSX, and more importantly, I think it's one of the more memorable VR games that I've played. And when you think of what's going to make people want to buy VR, it's probably really stupid stuff like this and 100-foot robot golf and things that are absolutely ridiculous, but you could only enjoy that experience in virtual reality.
Thank you, Cuban. May I have another?